What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripes show. Scott, I don't remember a season in which a team was going so smoothly and firing on all cylinders and then just absolutely hit a wrath of speed bumps. It was like they went off-roading off a cliff in just 2 days. It was just boom, injury, COVID. And it's like you're shell-shocked with what happened this week. Luckily, thankfully, they still won 2 out of 3 against Baltimore. But holy crap, has there been a decimation to this roster in the last 72 hours?
The entire bullpen is gone. Like besides Holmes, the entire bullpen is gone. It's very different. And a lot of the guys that we were talking about that are not the elite of the back end are the ones that now have to pick it up. And some guys that are going to have to be called up from AAA and that already are to getting fill-in starts are going to have to. We're going to have some additional nut up moments of the week because these guys are going to have to fill in some spots. No doubt about it. But yeah, man, there's a trail of people just on the IL now, and it's wild how fast that happened. And what's crazy is that you're looking at some of the people like Lasagna when we're looking at how he struggles, and all of a sudden now there's inflammation and he's on. I'm like, okay, does that help our narrative? Do we think that he was struggling because of this soreness, this inflammation and whatnot? Because if that's the case, then okay, fix it. Let's fix it right now so that we don't have to, deal with something like this at the end of the year. Because if that is the case and it's not mechanical and he just didn't all of a sudden start sucking, that makes me happy.
But here's my concern with the Loaisiga injury. It's the same thing he had last September, where they had to shut him down in September, and he came back for the very end of the season, and he was available for the wild card game. But, we don't really know what he's like after that. So all we've seen after Loaisiga's shoulder injury in September 2021 is been bad performance. Maybe the injury never fully healed. Maybe he needs surgery or something. Like I'm not going to go too far with it, but his performance this season has been subpar. Now he's got the shoulder soreness, inflammation, same thing that he had last September. So my concern is that it's not going to get better by just resting for a couple weeks. Like something else is wrong here.
Maybe, but it's also it could also be that you do need to rest it, get off of it, stay off of it to let it heal. I mean, I think a lot of times those injuries are irritated when they just continue to be used. So the only thing to really do in something like that is to rest it and hope that
it's the beginning of the season. Huh? This is early in the season, and his shoulder is.
But like you said, you
hurting.
Never know. Like maybe it's a continuation. But you're right. It could be. Yeah. It could be a glitch in the system. It could be something in his body that's saying, you know what, when you do this, it's gonna feel like this. And if that's the case and it doesn't go away, then yeah, it's going to be an issue. And it's going to be, if he can't get through it on the pain side and it's affecting his mechanics, then yes, it's going to be an issue.
And Chapman placed on the IL with Achilles injury. And not that anyone is too sad to see him go on the IL because he wasn't trusted anyway, but that's another body who's not out there available to pitch.
Is he not trusted because he wasn't doing well because of the injury? And if that's the case, and it's
but didn't the MRI come back negative?
Which is a good thing. That means
but
it'll still affect you though, right? A sore Achilles is still a thing.
You can still
it's not
be sore.
Torn, or it's not, anything that's beyond what an MRI is looking for. It's a soreness thing. So again, like R&R.
And
stop squatting so much weight.
It's not just injuries. It's also Michael King has had 3 out of his last 4 outings be really bad.
Yeah.
And between him and Holmes, they were the dynamic duo out of that bullpen in the first month and a half of the season. If you just point to 2 guys, why was the bullpen elite? Michael King and Clay Holmes. Like, that's why the bullpen had been so elite. And the other guys had been pretty good, even, through some Chapman struggles and through some Loaisiga struggles. But now it's Clay Holmes just trying to drag along a bunch of guys. And it's like, he's been filthy. He's been unbelievable. Like, 5 million times better than anyone could have expected. But he's only one man out there. And because he's pitched back-to-back days, he's not going to be available for the first game in Tampa. So it's like, okay, you got a 1-run lead going into the 9th tonight in Tampa. Wing and a prayer? What do you do?
Yeah, no, you can't. It's not good to have one guy in the back that you can rely upon. So like I said earlier, man, there's going to be multiple. This is a scenario where other guys have to step up. Like, that's the only solution here. The other guys have to step up in these moments. And this is why you have depth. This is why you look to your system. This is why you look to the moves that you've made over the offseason to build that depth. And yeah, they're getting nailed by a whole bunch of people going down, but they do have depth in the sense of guys can come up in AAA and contribute immediately. And we saw that yesterday with JP Sears. I mean, that's not a guy that anybody thought would be a contributor in this Yankees team. He had a good spring training. Mariucci, another guy, a good spring training. But those are the guys that are going to need to come up now and take advantage of these opportunities and show to the Yankees that they can be real contributors even beyond, when certain guys come back. So it's an opportunity for them. And if they can take it, and I'd say JP Sears did do that far, and so did Mariucci, like, good signs.
Marinaccio.
I'm going to call him Mariucci forever.
Call him Maraschino Cherry. All right, I want to play a little game with you. 1 to 10, your confidence level when this guy comes out of the bullpen. 1 being absolutely no confidence. Yeah. 10 being this is I don't even have to watch. I know he's going to lock it down. Miguel Castro.
6.
Michael King.
Today?
Yeah, right now, tonight. He's coming out of the bullpen.
I still have 8.
Okay. Lucas Licky.
7.
Ron Marinaccio.
5. Because of the unknown.
Yeah. Peralta.
6. 6, 7.
This is pretty much it. Okay. Everyone except Marinaccio is a 6 or above.
And I'd say that's because of sample size.
And obviously Clay Holmes is a 10 right now.
Yeah. Highest confidence.
That was actually that game wasn't as fun. I thought you were going to have some lower confidence levels in there.
Yeah, I mean, do you not know me? I'm glass half full on many things, but I mean, Licky is a guy that still, he can get people out. He's not, maybe he doesn't come back to the same exact, the same type of performances that he had last year, because I think he was unbelievable. But I have confidence in the guy coming in and working through situations. I just, when you start putting them in massive high leverage situations, like, there's going to be a give at some point.
Because we're just talking about the bullpen, Michael King, he allowed the big comeback by Baltimore on Tuesday night. Did you notice this awkward moment when Boone went out to the mound and King went to hand him the ball and walk off the mound before Boone signaled to the bullpen, and King realized that he didn't ask for the ball yet, and so he took it back and took a step back, and then Boone pointed out to the bullpen. I don't know if I think Boone was planning on taking him out because he sucked. I don't know if he was going to go out there and just talk to him for 20 seconds before he actually pulled the trigger, but it was just a weird moment. And what that tells me is King has no confidence in himself right now. And that is perhaps worse than just like a guy struggling and he's going to figure it out, and next time out he'll just be better. So it's the confidence level that clearly was there in the first month of the season for King, where he could get out of bases loaded, jams, no outs, because he was just on a roll. And now it's like seems like his confidence been shattered a little bit. So it's like, how does he get back to a place where he himself trusts on the mound? And so that's why I wouldn't put King. Did you say 8 for King?
Yeah.
Still?
Uh-huh.
Like, I don't know. King comes out of the bullpen tonight. I'm at like a 3 because if he doesn't trust himself, why am I going to trust him?
Because I can't look in baseball. If you hang your hat on everything that
was like a John Stewart. Well, Susan, in baseball, let me tell you.
Let me be as condescending as humanly possible right now, real quick. No, he does that so well without being condescending, or at least coming off condescending, even though it's exactly what he means. I don't look at the what have you done for me lately. I think you can do that in a lot of sports. Baseball, it's very difficult to do that throughout a regular season. I think in the playoffs, you're making the season is smaller, right? Like there's less area where you can have any doubt, or the sample size is much smaller at that point. But during the regular season, there are ebb and flow of the season, and that happens within each player as well. So I got it. My confidence stays up with a guy like Michael King because I've seen him do it for a month and a half. And a guy like that could walk out onto the mound and absolutely dominate, and it would not surprise me if I'm in the boat where I'm seeing him continue to struggle. That is surprising to me at this point. That is surprising. So that's where my confidence level is affected. If I believe that you have it in you still, then my confidence level is still high, even though you have struggled recently. I don't take the recency bias into account as much for a regular season guy, because I know how fast it can flip.
Obviously, it can flip. We saw it flip with a lot of these guys.
But you saying 3 leads me to believe that you're looking at what have you done for me recently, and you're basing it all on that. Because there's no way he should be a 3.
Also, the fact that he's looked shell-shocked, and again, that moment on the mound, maybe I'm just making too big of a deal out of it. When a pitcher basically pulls himself out of the game before the manager pulls you out of the game, to me, that tells me I don't want to be here right now.
Well, he's probably disappointed in himself, and when the manager comes out,
of course he's disappointed.
9 times out of 10, he's taking the ball. So, yeah, Boone probably wanted to give him a little bit of an attaboy, like, don't worry about it. And King was just like probably fired up internally, pissed off at himself, and wanted to get the hell out of there, understanding that he was coming out for that reason. And, in fact, he was. Boone was going to say something to him. So, I don't really look into that too much.
I still trust that King has elite stuff. We've seen it.
Yeah.
And that he can be very effective. I just think he needs to get back on track. So maybe that is used in a low leverage situation, because he's been used in high leverage situations the past month.
Yeah.
They needed it. But maybe the thing that he needs is come in the 6th inning and just have a clean inning and get a confidence booster.
Yeah. I mean, I disagree to that, especially given the situation. They need to rely on him to be a high leverage guy right now, because he is one of the high leverage guys in the bullpen who are left. If you're telling me
you don't have
that
a choice, maybe.
Yeah, well, exactly. So if you're bringing him in the 5th inning or the 6th inning in a low leverage situation, doesn't that say to him, hey, they don't have a lot of confidence in me right now. They're putting me in a position.
You're right.
That doesn't work.
It's a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation.
Yeah.
It's like they don't have the luxury of getting King in a low pressure situation because the bullpen is decimated. But at the same time, you use him in a high leverage situation, and he's out there not trusting himself, and you could find yourself blowing another game.
I think there's a lot of things that you can do for the confidence factor outside of the game and outside of the actual appearance. Just things that you're doing throughout the day, talking to him before the game, after the game, whatever it is. Give him one for the Gipper, whatever it is. Do you do those things? The catchers are reinforcing that with him as well, and talking to him about the game plan. And you could get a lot of confidence, I think, in other ways. But I think especially for King, in the way that he's had an ascent in his career this year. I mean, you're marking this as certainly a milestone so far, month and a half of where he is projecting with his career. I think talking down to him and not treating him like a professional, like he is in this high leverage situation, is probably the wrong way to go.
Who's the pump up guy on the team? Who's the guy to get in the face and give the attaboy, slap him on the backside, and get out there ready to run through a wall?
Mike Harkey.
Okay, but who's on the active roster to do that? I was thinking through it. I'm like, oh, I don't know if they have one of those guys, and I don't know that you absolutely need one of those. It clearly can be a coach like that. That can obviously work.
There's definitely a number of those guys. Rizzo's one of those guys. Rizzo is a guy that I think Rizzo.
You think Rizzo's?
Oh, dude, I think Rizzo is probably one of the more inspirational people on that team. I feel like he's captivating. Like he could really get. He could really get personal.
What do you mean he's captivating?
Just the way he speaks. I think the way he talks and the way that he connects on a human level, the way that he talks is just engaging. He's engaging.
I think
he could
have something to say. I think he could have a really meaningful thing to say, where it's like maybe he's not going to be screaming or anything like that.
No,
but
you don't need that.
He'll sit you down and he'll have a nice conversation with you, and you'll be thinking about it. Then be like, "Oh man, yeah, he's right. Let's go." Okay.
Yeah. Oh, he could definitely get you. He could definitely get the juices flowing. There's no doubt about it. He could definitely do that. You know what? So also, like, there are guys that are not as outspoken, and you would think of as like the guys that are going to come in and hype you up. But there are definitely, like, Stanton's words matter. Judge's words matter. A guy like LeMahieu coming out of nowhere and talking matters. Like, things like that. That's the type of stuff that can absolutely matter for an impact of a guy. I think your veteran presence matters. This is where the makeup of a team, you know, you're never going to find it in a stat book. No nerd is going to talk about the makeup of a team and how you have it. But a guy like, you know, thinking back to the prior teams, like a Todd Frazier type, who's got that veteran presence, he could do it. He's one of those guys that would, you know, just good for the culture. And I think Rizzo's a similar type of guy.
What about a guy like Jose Trevino, who had career night on Tuesday, and everything with his father about how it was his father's birthday on Tuesday. When Trevino was a kid, his father told him, you're going to hit a walk-off for the Yankees, and he's freaking doing it on his birthday. And then there's this cool tie-in where his first ever walk-off was with Texas driving in IKF, and now this walk-off with the Yankees is driving in IKF. Just a really awesome moment. And you could see everything he did on Tuesday night, like wearing his emotion on his sleeve in a good way. Pumped up, running around the bases when he hit the home run, when he gets the game-tying hit in the 7th inning. And then our Manscaped Nut Up Moment of the week, our guy Trevino walking it off in the 11th inning. I didn't even know what to call the Nut Up Moment. Is it the game-tying hit in the 7th inning when the Yankees are reeling and potentially going to lose 2 games in a row to the Baltimore Orioles? Or is it the walk-off? Like, to me, it's kind of a coin flip.
You could definitely go with both. And the fact that Trevino did this and talked about, you know, all the stories with the father, like you want to talk about inspirational in a different way. Like when we were talking about this before we hit record, and Logan was talking more about the, you know, all of the context and the things that happened, the Rangers home run as well. Like, I'm getting goosebumps thinking about this stuff. When you think about, you know, the bigger powers of when you think about, I'm wearing my shirt Magic in the Bronx, because when you think about the ghosts at Yankee Stadium, like there are spiritual powers at that place. There are spiritual powers, and usually they come around in October and in the playoffs, but there's a presence there. There's a presence of the ghosts in a very positive way sometimes at Yankee Stadium. And Trevino definitely embodied that.
I was looking at, because I was curious to see which play, was it the walk-off or was it the game-tying hit in the 7th? Which one actually had a bigger impact on the win probability? And it was the walk-off. But it's not, you might think, oh, obviously the walk-off, but it's not always the case. Because on opening day,
this is why some of these stats are so stupid.
But on opening day, DJ's home run to tie the game had a bigger win probability added than Donaldson's walk-off. But in this case, it was Trevino's walk-off that had a bigger win probability added than his game-tying hit in the 7th inning.
Don't you see how dumb this is, though? This whole conversation is absolutely stupid, because he doesn't even get into that situation without the hit.
He doesn't get to the 11th inning without the 7th inning hit.
Yeah.
So you're saying that the 7th inning should have a bigger impact.
Why are we talking about the percentage? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't even know where you come up with these numbers.
I was just curious. I was curious. Yeah. That's all.
I'm just saying, like, whatever nerd stuff in a locker is coming up with win percentage or probability added is.
I don't think it's being coming up within the locker room. Okay, this is
in a locker.
This is being theorized
in a locker is what I said, not a locker room.
Trevino has been excellent. He's up to 0.8 F4 and his WRC plus is up to 99, which is essentially league average. He's been the big night on Tuesday, I think, raised it like close to 30 points. So, you know, take that with a grain of salt. But he's been the 9th most productive catcher by WAR in Major League Baseball.
It's crazy. I mean, are we starting to flirt with Trevino as one of the biggest offseason acquisitions in Cashman's history? Because when you look at it and the importance of some of the things that he's done, clearly we're in May, almost in June. I mean, it came out of nowhere, off of the heap, you know, and just added a veteran presence because of Rorkelvet, or whatever the hell his name is down and injured.
You just combined Rorkelvet with Steve Urkel.
Nobody knows who Steve Urkel is. Is injured.
Fuck, I'm old.
He's injured.
Hold on, Logan. Do you know who Steve Urkel is?
He did. I could tell by the way he laughed.
I'm getting a nod.
Yeah. It was a convenient ad for really some depth, because they didn't want to add Brantley. Was Brantley on the 40 at that point? No, because they didn't want to add Brantley to the 40, I think, was one of the reasons, right?
They were like,
and he just got DFA'd.
Let's get this Trevino guy. So Trevino's 100th percentile for framing, top of the league in framing. That's where a lot of his value is coming from. But the point is that he has not been a nothing offensively. Higgy has been an absolute nothing.
He's hitting a little bit more recently.
Higgy, though, not so great at framing so far this year. So if you want to shit all over the framing stat, whatever, but then you can't shit on it for Trevino as well. I'm here declaring it. Thursday, May 26th. I am a Trevino truther.
Oh, Jesus. Look, I don't even know what that means at this point. We got two backup catchers platooning. I don't know what you want. They're doing their thing. They're being a Molina brother behind the scenes. Not to the extent clearly, but maybe, who knows? They are being the defensive guys.
Chill.
They're being a Benji Molina, okay? They are being not a Jose Molina. Not Yadi a Yadi is what I mean. More of a
Yadi is the gold state.
They're not being him.
Hall of
They're
Famer.
not being him. They're being the other Molina brother. They're being
Jose. They're being Jose.
They're being another Molina brother. But my point is that they're playing defense and they have the command and respect and confidence of the pitching staff. And not to be a broken record here, beat a dead horse or whatever cliche you want to put in here, but that is their job. That is why they are here. That is their job. Anything offensively is just sprinkle some gold on it, because it's all gravy, baby, at that point. And that's what we're seeing with Trevino. He's come up in great moments. Awesome. That's huge. No doubt about it. Really cool story. Looking back with the father thing, just the fact that he got here, cool story all around. But defense is why they're here. So yeah, the frame rate, like, again, you know me in the.
That's what Brian Kenny said when I talked to him. When I was talking to BK, he was like, look at what the Rays did with the catcher position for all those years. You're like, why are they picking this guy up? Oh, because he's elite defensively and provides great framing, and they're getting so much value out of that, they don't give a crap about the offense. That's what the Yankees did this offseason. And I know I've seen some people comparing, because Gary Sanchez is not having a terrible year with Minnesota. And his WAR is actually, I think it was 0.3 the last time I checked, which is a lot better than Higgy. Higgy's is negative, and Trevino's, as I said, is 0.8. But Sanchez is. I have not watched Minnesota Twins games. I haven't watched 1 minute of a Minnesota Twins game this year. The only thing I know about the Minnesota Twins is that they were being no hit this season by what's his name, Kershaw, and they pulled him. That's the only Minnesota Twin fact that I know so far this year. But clearly, whatever value Gary is providing the Twins, it is not with elite framing. I can tell you that much.
No, he's also platooning over there as well. He's not like the everyday.
So is Trevino.
Guy. And they prioritize something different, and that's good. That's a good thing. People are shitting all over Brian Kenny for some of his recent takes, and they were a little out there, no doubt about it.
Questionable about Stanton. I thought he made a lot of good points on our show.
Yes, I think that when you look at some of the things that he's identifying beyond that too, like he definitely looks at things differently, and I appreciate that he looks at things differently, and it's his job to talk shit. So, but I'm glad they did this. It was the right way to go. And yes, you could build a championship caliber team with a defensive catcher.
Yeah, and so Trevino, well-deserved round of applause for that Manscaped Nut Up Moment of the week. And we have a Manscaped product alert. They're bringing back the Ultra Smooth package. The Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer is great. We told you about it last time. But if you're looking for a close shave, I mean really, really close shave, the Ultra Smooth package is for you. It includes crop shaver razor, crop exfoliator, and crop gel. This all helps protect against ingrown hairs and cuts and allows you to get those hard to reach places. Scott, have you ever had an incident shaving down below the waist?
I've not had an incident. I've avoided incidents.
Avoided incident.
Yes.
Have you ever had any incident shaving though? Maybe you're shaving your face and you had an cut your neck or something like that. Like
course.
Everyone's done that.
Everyone's done that.
Yeah. And it's because you did not follow the Manscaped 3-step process. First, you trim with the Lawnmower 4.0, which you can take with you in the shower. It has an LED light, super clean shave. We told you about it last time. Then you apply the crop exfoliator to help reduce the risk of ingrown hairs, and then the crop gel to make the blade glide smoothly and make it easier for you to see where you need to shave. And then finally, you actually shave with the crop shaver razor. It has 3 blades, extra wide lubricating strip, and a pivoting head. Super the pivoting head is key.
It's essential for navigation.
Essential. There's not many flat surfaces down there. Okay, so you got to have that pivoting head. And if you follow these 3 steps, your balls will be as smooth as eggs. Do you get that reference?
The process is extremely important. The process. It's a process. Don't try to do too much at one time. You got to take it in steps. Otherwise, there will be incidents.
You didn't get my balls eggs reference. That's a Chappelle reference. It's from like one of his very early stand-ups. Anyway, go to manscaped.com and get 20% off plus free shipping with code Bronx21. Again, 20% off plus free shipping with code Bronx21. Thank you so much for Manscaped for sponsoring our show. And I'm really, Trevino. The Nut Up moment found Trevino the same way it found Judge the first time. We didn't have anything.
As it should. That's just exactly why it's here. This is exactly why it's here. These things need to just appear, and they present themselves by being glaringly obvious. And I love that. I absolutely love the fact that we haven't had to force a Nut Up moment of the week. Because in baseball, as John says, that is baseball, Susan. Nut Up moments present themselves in opportune, and if you're ready for that moment, then you will take advantage of it. So I'm glad that they've come about as they have.
Do you know what I'm just realizing? So Manscaped is not sponsoring us every single week, but in the 2 weeks that they are sponsoring us, we had the Judge walk-off and we've had the Trevino night.
Higher powers.
What this means is
higher powers.
We need to get more Manscaped sponsorships so we can have more of these moments, because clearly they're going to happen as long as Manscaped has a sponsorship for us on the week. So to do that, everyone needs to go buy something, because it's going to say like, oh shit, these guys are delivering, these guys from Bronx Pinstripes. So everyone go to manscaped.com, code Bronx21, buy something, and we're going to have a crap ton of Manscaped moments.
Yeah, it's a fantastic package. So you're doing this really for the team and the success of the team. So please follow through and support Manscaped so that we can have more nut up walk-off moments.
Garrett Cole's start on Monday night was one of the most bizarre things I can ever remember. If I just told you going into Monday night, Garrett Cole is going to pitch 8 innings and strike out 11 batters, what would you have said the final score of the game is going to be?
Yeah, it would have been the under, that's for sure. I can tell you that much. It would have been under 8.5.
And under 2.5 runs allowed that it was win bet for Garrett Cole to give up. So yeah, very weird. It was a meltdown inning. The inning went double, wild pitch, double, ground out, single, stolen base, single, RBI ground out, fly out. And then after the game, Cole was like at a loss for words. He was stuttering through the question. He at one point he was just like, hitters, balls up, hit, ball. Like, yeah, I don't know. And it was just like he could not understand how or why they hit him, because clearly his stuff was there. He threw 8 innings, so saved the bullpen, struck out 11 batters. Other than that third inning, he was absolutely unhittable.
It's strange. It's like he had an out-of-body experience in a very bad way. And we saw he didn't get out of this, unfortunately, and have the rest of the game like he did here. But in Detroit, like, he just had this meltdown of a moment, and we saw a similar moment where it just didn't make sense, why he couldn't execute his pitches. So it was very strange. It's very strange, and I don't like it. I don't like that he has those moments, especially against Detroit and Baltimore.
Do you think?
And hold on. Maybe that's okay. Maybe it's okay that he's having them against Detroit and Baltimore.
Yeah, don't have him against Tampa.
Right. Yeah. Let me take that back, actually.
Do you think so? Did it after the next day? I was thinking like, well, he was clearly baffled by what happened. Like, he couldn't identify like, oh, I just left that fastball up, or I didn't have a grip for my slider in that inning, or whatever like that. Do you think he was tipping at all in that inning? Did the Orioles figure out anything in that specific inning, and then Cole maybe just didn't do it anymore? Maybe he has no clue he was doing it, because, I hate to just go to the tipping thing, but when something so stark happens like this, like, what else do I think? Like, what else can I think?
I mean, I don't go. There's nothing that says that to me besides the success. But to me, it's more worrisome the fact that he has a complete mechanical breakdown and can't do the things that he wants to do, and then has no idea why I said something happened. So if that's the case, then he needs to figure out why that happened. Go watch the tape and really identify what was the thing that went wrong. That's his job, and that's the catcher position job. Like, go in that room and don't come out until you understand why that happened, so that it can be avoided next time, or some kind of an adjustment can be made in the inning, because we can't have that happen really much else. Like, it can't happen against a big team, Cannot happen in a tough situation. So understand that it happened against Detroit. Understand that it happened against Baltimore, and fix it. Figure out why it happened.
I mean, it kind of happened against Boston on opening day.
Yeah. I mean, to me,
maybe
it's hard to say the very, very beginning of the season only because of the way that spring training was also cut short.
Oh,
yeah.
Got it. Yeah. His next start is coming against. It's going to be against Kluber actually in the third game against Tampa. He struggled against Tampa last year, and this is a massive series. So the pitching matchups, the 4-game series in Tampa at the end of this long streak with no off days, and the Yankees bullpen just absolutely being decimated. Like, I feel like this is like a brutal final exam to this stretch. Cortez versus Ryan Yarbrough, Taillon versus Jeffrey Springs. Jeffrey Springs has a 1.27 ERA in 27 innings pitched this year. Then Cole versus Kluber, and then Sevy versus McClanahan. McClanahan has been really, really good. 2.06 ERA in 62 innings pitched. I just feel like you got to get out of there with a split.
Yeah, I mean, if they can get out of there with a split, I would be very happy. Are you worried about the who's playing in the outfield, and that's also going to affect the roster that we currently have going into Tampa as well? Because obviously Stanton not going to be good news about Stanton with a misdiagnosis, right? Not necessarily a calf, but inflammation in the ankle.
Classic Yankees training staff.
That's great. Call it out. People make mistakes. It's fine. I'd rather way on the side of conservatism, with injuries and calling them out and understanding what that is. Yeah, good thing to do. But it's going to affect, I think how much Judge is going to play out there, which affects how this team will play. So, a split would be, I would be very happy with a split at this point. Very happy.
At this point, doesn't Judge have to play 3 games and then just sit maybe the other day? I mean, you'd like to think, well, let me ask you this, because the outfield, right? Gallo is back from the COVID list. But he's been lost. Yeah. And Andujar has been out in left field. He's looked fine.
Yeah. Stop shitting on Andujar in the field. You need to get out. We are a pro Andujar podcast. We need to get behind him.
Are we?
Yes, we are. He looks like he's in phenomenal shape. The guy looks like he's just
best shape of his life.
He does look like that. And I have a lot of confidence in him as a offensive player, and I am gaining confidence more and more in left field. He still has not shown anything to the way that you speak about this man as a defender. He has not shown that in the past 2 years. He just hasn't. So you need to get over it.
Because he's been in Scranton.
You need to get over it. He's not a third baseman anymore. He's not that liability that we think he is. He can play left field just fine. And I think that I'm ready for him to stay. I want Andujar to stay.
I would love it. I would love it if he can play a competent left field and turn back into.
He is playing a competent left field.
I mean, it's been 2 games.
Fine.
Okay, let's
been competent?
Wait until he. Yes, through 2 games, it's been competent. Okay. I was going to compliment Miguel Andujar. Did you notice he was wearing kind of capri pants the other night, where cut off 2 inches high? It was just you could see a little bit of sock. And I was like, this isn't quite like high socks or stirrups. He should go stirrups. He should bring back some stirrups.
I could see Andujar going throwback with stirrups. That would be a classic. Someone's got to do that soon. I'm surprised it hasn't come back, to be honest. I'm sure
Rizzo went with the high socks the other night.
High socks are great. They high socks are.
It turned Aaron Judge's career around.
Yeah, it's a classic move. I would recommend everybody do it especially if you have good calves. You want to show those off.
But you're right. The outfield alignment, I think, is going to be really interesting. My question was going to be, would you rather have Judge DH 2 games and play the outfield 2 games, or play 3 games in the outfield and sit the 4th game?
Yeah, I don't care. As long as you're offensively in the game for 4 of them, then
4.
Then I'm happy. I want you. Yeah, I want him in the lineup. No doubt about it. If they need to put him in the DH spot for 2 games, so be it.
Yeah. So then you're filling the outfield on 2 occasions with Hicks, Gallo, and Andujar.
Has Gallo played right field this year at all? He hasn't. Right?
He's a right fielder before he came to the Yankees.
But did he play this year? He played one time?
Stick him in right field.
Okay.
1 time.
All right. So, yeah, you put him in right field then.
He's the right fielder. Andujar's left. Hicks is in center.
Or anybody else.
Who else?
Florial. Somebody. Anybody but Hicks?
Okay. Well, when you got guys on the
Andujar
IL,
is going to come up and be the savior and become our center fielder. How about that?
Great. Yeah.
Best shape in his life. You
pigs
know how much
fly.
ground he can cover? Tons of ground.
Absolutely. Anything else you want to mention from the Baltimore series? I mean, Judge's 2 home runs on Monday night. He just continued.
Don't make a mistake to that, man. He is. I know he didn't have. They kept it quiet over the last 2 nights, but relatively. But he's been good. Just locked in. Like, you cannot make mistakes to him. He's becoming that kind of guy. You make mistakes to him in the play anywhere in the zone, and he's gonna make you pay for it. I love it.
The lineup on Monday, though, was a little bit reminiscent of just the decimated lineups that we've seen from the Yankees over the past few years. It was Rizzo, Judge, Stanton, Torres, then IKF, Hicks, Florial, Trevino, Gonzalez. It's like that's a lot of zeros in the lineup.
Gonzalez hasn't been great, as far as the role player and in the lineup hasn't been great. Trevino,
I'm not talking about Trevino, but Florial has looked absolutely overmatched.
Florial, has he gotten a hit yet? Last time he hadn't had a hit yet. So
we all know Hicks has been non-existent, and
Florial's just not. He's not a major league offensive player. He's not. I don't know how much more you can develop a guy that's been through the system and he still has the same problems. He's a defensive player basically at this point.
At this point, it's a small sample size, but you're right. I don't see major league offensive player when Florial steps to the plate.
No, I mean he looks the part, no doubt about it. But the plate discipline, his approach at the plate is just it's not on.
He looks overmatched. He looks overmatched.
Yeah.
He can't square up a fastball and a breaking ball. He's expecting a fastball and he's just complete. It's just
the other night was the most glaring thing. We talked about it on the last show, but when you had 2-0 count and then swung at 2 high fastballs, the guy just didn't have the game plan in the at bat was bad. The execution was worse, and he didn't look like he belonged in that matchup, and the pitcher knew that.
Yeah. So let's talk about some of these injuries. You briefly mentioned Stanton. We thought it was going to be another calf, which I think would have been a huge concern because he's dealt with calf injuries over the past couple of years. But we got an update late last night that it was not a right calf strain and it was just ankle inflammation, which this hopefully means he'll be back right after the 10-day IL stint is up. DJ's wrist kind of also came out of nowhere. And then all of a sudden, he's not in the lineup. He had an MRI, which was negative, which is good, but he had a cortisone injection. And I worry that if he's dealing with a wrist injury all season, because he's kind of been something we have not mentioned is DJ's
recently.
struggling.
Yeah.
Logan, can you pull DJ numbers over the past
2 weeks?
Call it 2-3 weeks? Yeah. But his numbers have plummeted, and I wondered, was his wrist sore? And if his wrist is going to be sore all season, are we going to have another repeat year of last year where he's not bad, but he's not DJ LeMahieu that we got used to seeing in 19 and 20.
Well, and also at the beginning of the year, the first month of the season, it seemed like he was
great.
Back. He was like, this guy is the guy. There was power. He was driving the gaps. Logan, you found some numbers on those last 14?
Yeah, I pulled his last 10 just because he was good. Like in the end of that Toronto series and in Chicago, his last 10 games, 128, 209, 205 slugging, 414 OPS. He's got
how many hits and how many at bats is that?
No power.
5 for 43 with one home run, that grand slam.
One home run.
Yeah,
the grand slam,
and no doubles, which is telling for him because he,
right. That's exactly right. He's not driving the gaps, and that's where he succeeds. No. When he's going gap to gap and he's he's hitting those lanes. That's when the ball starts flying out of the park for him as well. So. He's just he definitely has.
He was hitting line drives to right field with authority in the first month of the season, and yes, you're right. Some of those turned into home runs, and I know he did hit the grand slam, but that's a pop up to right field everywhere except Yankee Stadium.
Yes.
So he has not had power, and to me, that's bad wrist. If he's not driving the ball,
for sure,
right?
It's injury.
Even if you
hopefully cortisone shot can get ahead of this and can alleviate. Any discomfort that he's having, but it's definitely something to look at because this is a man who plays through injuries, but is not the same, nor is anybody when you have
no one's the same when you're
an
not
injury,
100%.
Especially to your wrist or like a hernia type thing. Like those affect your mobility and the way that you can mechanically swing.
What were you saying?
Even if you go back last 20, he's .215 for his last 85, which is 197, with 4 doubles and that same 1 home run. So he's still, even last 20 games, he's not been good.
Yeah, so the month of May really has not been great. And the fact that the Yankees don't have off days doesn't help matters when you have a nagging injury. It doesn't allow you the couple of days that sometimes that can be enough to reset your body. But when you don't have that luxury to get that gap in there, then it can compound and it can just keep going.
If he's not in the lineup tonight in Tampa, I almost feel like they should just retroactive DL or IL him.
Can't say DL.
I know. I corrected myself.
Yeah, that's what they're doing. I mean, they've been on a retroactive streak here. So yeah.
No, but like, don't just hold out for let's get him in the lineup Friday or have him pinch hit on Saturday or something, and then when the wrist injury is still bothering him next Tuesday, you're just like, oh well, now we can't retroactive IL him, and he's just, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you got to call it. I understand you're playing Tampa 4 games. This is a massive series, and your roster is crushed right now. But we need DJ LeMahieu for the long term. We don't just need him for this 4-game series.
I don't think they're going to sacrifice anything long term for one series. So I'm not worried. I mean, the Yankees always, rely on the side of caution. It seems like with.
But
injuries.
clearly the plan is cortisone shot. Probably have him take BP.
Yeah.
See how he feels.
Yeah.
And then hopefully get him in the lineup.
Yeah.
What I'm saying is, if he's like if it's not 100% fixed, right, then just put him on the IL.
We'll see what happens, but they're going to try. They're going to try the other side. I don't mind them trying. I mean, they want to see if the cortisone shot can do what it's supposed to do and give him the comfort level to actually swing the way he's supposed to and not have the discomfort, which again affects mechanics. We'll wait and see, because that's the approach basically for him. If it's not fixing it, yeah, it's exactly what they're probably going to do. They're going to sit him down for a longer period of time.
Isn't it funny that we love gamers that go out there and still perform through injuries, but we hate gamers that go out there through injuries and suck?
It depends on the situation. I don't hate gamers that go out there and still do it, even if they're not to the same level. I still like it, but I like the mentality of it. But yes, in May, I know we're almost in June, but you need to have more of that long-term approach, especially given where the situation is with the Yankees and where they are in the standings. That matters.
Donaldson, since we last recorded, Donaldson was suspended for 1 game, and MLB released the statement. And one thing I found odd in the statement, that it said, in addition, Mr. Donaldson's remark was a contributing factor to a bench clearing incident between the teams and warrants discipline. Now, and I think they included that because it's really, really difficult to prove Donaldson's intent. They even say in the statement, regardless of Donaldson's intent, the comment he directed towards Anderson was disrespectful and in poor judgment. Okay. And then they go on to say, and he contributed to the bench clearing incident. I mean, you're right. If he doesn't make that statement, then Grandal never gets in his face. But like, Grandal's the one who, when Donaldson came to the plate, started yelling at him. Donaldson just stood there. So it's like,
they're they're calling him an instigator without calling him an instigator.
But so now an instigator is, you can't shit talk now. Now I understand you can't bring race into shit talking, but you can't shit talk.
It depends on what I think if you are found, if a brawl happens, if a bench clearing situation happens, then you start looking at how that happened. So you can shit talk.
And if you're just a shit talker,
yeah,
you've just been getting under the skin in completely benign ways.
Yeah. But I mean, that's not the way that it happened. But that's also not the way that it happened. They're targeted incidents with 2 players specifically. It's different. It's not just random shit talking.
Okay, but I'm asking, like, could someone get suspended if they're just like relentlessly shit talking a player and then that player snaps and punches him in the face?
Maybe.
I don't like that. Like, you should be able to shit talk.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. But they're, if a situation unfolds and a fight happens, they have to look at why that fight happened, and then that's when they make those judgments. But again, I think this was used as a way to level or to levy a a fine or a suspension in a way that was indisputable.
He's going to appeal it, but I don't think he's going to get it overturned. He did release a statement Thursday morning apologizing to Tim Anderson and to the Jackie Robinson family. But again, he reiterated that he did not have any racial intent when he made those comments to Tim Anderson. Do you think this is going to be put behind? Because Donaldson's been out, right? He's been on the COVID list, so he hasn't been in the lineup.
Yeah.
Do you think this is, when he returns, this is all going to be behind the team and behind us, or is this going to be a lingering thing?
No, I don't think it's going to be a lingering thing. I think everybody has put it to bed, to be honest. Even players. I mean, when we were talking
Except
about
the White
this,
Sox.
Even the White Sox. I mean, I think
no. Once the suspension came out, they had their I think it was Liam Hendricks said something. They had a coach go on radio talking about it. Like they're not happy about this still.
Okay, that's fine. The Yankees are moving past it. Judge has even come out and talked about this. You know, when we were talking about this last episode, I mentioned, you know, what could be if this were looked at and perceived differently inside the clubhouse, there will be ramifications for that as far as chemistry and like the way that the clubhouse has gelled. And I thought Judge did a good job in getting out in front of that as well and talking about how there was a disagreement on why things happened the way that they happened and the way that the players perceived it. But also mentioning to the kind of a resolution in the same statement saying that, you know, Donaldson admitted to it, moved past it, and this is what we're doing. We're moving past it. And I thought that was a good voice from the team coming from Aaron Judge saying we're moving past it. We understand. He identified all the situations, called out the people involved, the situation involved, and said we're moving past it. So to me, it's put to bed.
What did you think of Brandon Tierney canceling Paul O'Neill's interview because O'Neill wouldn't talk about the Donaldson stuff?
I mean, it's not surprising me that Paul O'Neill said that he didn't want to talk about it. Paul O'Neill doesn't want to talk politics because that's
especially after the Trump
he
stuff.
will not get he doesn't want to get roped into any of that stuff.
Is this politics? This isn't politics.
It very quickly becomes politics.
I fucking hate that.
I do too, but it does. It is a reality of the situation.
Yeah, I'm a huge Paul O'Neill fan. I've probably said on the show 1,000 times he was my favorite player growing up. I also completely understand where Brandon Tierney is coming from, where he doesn't want to look like a fool who didn't ask Paul O'Neill about the Donaldson stuff when that's like the number one topic.
Yeah,
in
and they
the
were just
sport
talking
right
about
now.
it too. So I mean, I understand
Yeah,
it, but he's there to promote a
I mean, obviously Tierney is on WFAN. It's a bigger platform than our show. I kind of tried to put myself in Tierney's shoes, and it's like if we had Paul O'Neill on the show and right before they were just like, you cannot bring this
live
up.
radio is different though. But live radio is different. They were literally talking about it on that day.
Right.
Live talk sports radio. You talk about the trending topics. You talk about the trending moments. So when you have someone come on to promote something, they're going to talk about trending topics and the thing that they're promoting. This is why, I don't know if you remember this, but it will stand out as an all-time moment of douchebaggery forever is when Matt Harvey went on the Dan Patrick show, and Matt Harvey was with the Mets at the time, and it was in limbo. Was he going to get the surgery, the Tommy John? Was he not going to get the Tommy John? And Dan Patrick wanted to talk about that, and I think he made the decision not to get it at that point. And Matt Harvey came on and just like, Dan, I'm not here to talk about that. I'm just here to talk about Qualcomm. Just here to talk about Qualcomm. And he said it like 15 times. And Dan Patrick's just like, well, all right, we do need to talk about things that are happening that are current and relevant. And he's like, I'm just here to talk about Qualcomm. And he came off like such a douche.
I don't get fined.
Such a douche. And honestly, his whole career has been downhill from that.
I always love like whenever they do like Super Bowl Radio Row and players are just like hawking some random ass product, and it's like they always have to cram in I'm really passionate about Qualcomm, Dan Patrick. It's like shut the fuck up, Matt Harvey.
Yeah.
I thought you were gonna talk about a Yankees beat reporter who I will not mention, who came on our show, I believe it was 2016, and refused to answer any questions because he thought I'm not gonna answer any questions to these idiot podcasters. Do you know who I'm referring to?
In 2016?
We never aired the interview.
Oh, really? I don't remember this. No, I don't remember this.
I will tell you who it was after we finish.
Ooh, I can't wait. I'm on the edge of my seat, even though apparently I was there.
Yeah, you were there. Yeah. Do you listen to the voicemails on this past episode? Because Carolyn in Buffalo was not happy with you.
Yeah, Carolyn, we need to clear some air here. It's not me.
So thank you, Carolyn.
First of all,
shout out
person.
Carolyn and everyone who called the voicemail line 646-480-0342. We love hearing from you. But Carolyn just was pissed off that you used to be a Gary Sanchez defender, and she called you out for defending Gary Sanchez for far too long. And you know what, Carolyn? I think you might have mixed up me and Scott.
I have been I have not been on the Gary Sanchez wagon for quite some time. So yeah,
you were at one point.
Of course, we all were. And here's the thing: the defense of Gary Sanchez was actually not about the player necessarily, but it was always about the potential of Gary Sanchez. That was always the defense of Gary Sanchez. The idea, the concept of what we saw in 2016, what he was in 17. And
he was an all-star in 17.
He was Babe Ruth in 16.
But that's unrealistic. Okay, if he could replicate his 2017 performance over a 10-year span, he's a Hall of Famer.
Yeah. If he could stretch out his 2016 second half performance, he's the best player that's ever played baseball.
He's the greatest baseball player of all time. Yeah. Yes.
He went on a rampage and almost won Rookie of the Year for.
I still stand by. He should have won Rookie of the Year. I think there's certain times where a guy will just has a holy shit moment where you're just like, I don't care what that other guy did. This is just so holy shit. He needs to win. And that was a moment in 2016.
So yeah, I've been very frustrated with Gary Sanchez for a long time. I was really never a defender of him. I actually wanted the Yankees to move on from him 2 years ago.
No, you were a defender of him, but you got off the bandwagon. I don't remember the exact timing. It was probably like late 2019 that you got off the bandwagon. I was on the bandwagon longer, but my bandwagon, I was still on it. And I wasn't even necessarily like I was on Gary Sanchez's bandwagon. I hated how the Yankees were handling the catcher position in 2020 and 2021. And I just wanted them to commit one way or the other, either commit to Gary Sanchez or get him off the roster. So I certainly defended him for longer than you did. So maybe Carolyn just mixed the two of us up, or maybe she just doesn't like you.
It's possible. There are people out there that don't like me, but yeah, it's worked out all right. The catcher is a defensive position, and if you get offense, then outstanding. But if you can't get defense and all the things that we need on the defensive side, then move on.
And you know what? I don't think Gary Sanchez is winning any Manscaped Nut Up moments.
Not now. Not with the Minnesota Twins.
Last thing is, rumor has it you picked up Sonny Gray in your fantasy league.
Speaking of the Minnesota Twins, yeah, I go through life when I'm betting, although I didn't this past. I kind of did. Garrett Cole lost me money. I didn't appreciate that. That makes me mad. I don't bet on my teams usually. I really don't.
That's smart.
Yeah, because I emotion just gets the best of me sometimes, and I don't want to hate them. Right. But if I lose money,
you want to root for them because you want them to win. You don't want to root for them to win money. It's like,
it's more so the other side of it. Yeah. I don't want to hate them for losing me money. That's the other side. That's the bigger side. Like if you lose, then now I have negative feelings towards you and I can't turn that off. It's like, it's very, very close to in my brain of where my emotions lie for passion as well. So, fantasy sports are the same way. I actually don't really like to pick any players on my team on the Jets just because if you suck, then the Jets are terrible anyway. It's a bad example. But Sonny Gray, I did pick up. I was looking for a starting pitcher. I saw his that he was coming up as a problem. I saw who he was pitching against. I was like, this is a great matchup. Let's go with it. Sonny, don't disappoint me. And actually, it was gravy at that point, and he didn't. He got me like 30 points or almost 30 points. Might get another start.
Did you hesitate though?
I did not. No, I did not. I did not hesitate. And you know what? Gary Sanchez, funny enough, is on the same team right now as Sonny Gray. I don't know if he caught that start. Logan, do we know if he caught that start? That would be some full circle shit right here. But Sonny Gray is also the reason why I was so angry about that in Sonny Gray is because of the disappointment level. You don't get to a point where you get disappointed with someone unless there's high expectations. He did not catch him. That makes sense. So when there's a high expectation and a high potential, and then you don't live up to that, that's where you lose me. And that's what happened with Gary Sanchez.
Absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened with Sonny Gray, because he had all the tools in the world to be the guy that they needed. And in fact, was the second half when they got him for the trade was very good for the team. And then, fell off of a cliff. So I'm hoping I can get the same pleasure from watching Clark Schmidt pitch at some point as a starting, and I won't have all the expectations.
I've heard a lot of people say that if Matt Blake was the pitching coach when Sonny Gray was here, things would have been different. Do you believe that?
Hey man, I'm really starting to get behind this whole Matt Blake situation and what he's bringing to this team. I mean, the proof is in the number. The proof is in the output here. Like, he's doing a fantastic job with this pitching staff. So very possibly.
Yeah, I certainly he could have been better. And he said a number of times that the Yankees didn't have the data that I needed to pitch, basically, like to
They didn't have his coach
performance.
Either. Did the Vanderbilt coach go to Minnesota too? I haven't tracked him lately.
But like we talked to that Oakland reporter, I'm forgetting her name, where she said that like everyone when that trade was made was like Sonny Gray's not going to be able to handle the New York media. He's not going to be able to handle pitching in New York. So I mean, listen, would he have been better? Probably. Could it have worked out? Sure. But at the same time, he's not someone who clearly was equipped to handle pitching for the Yankees. And so even if he was better, if a couple starts didn't go his way and he starts to get booed and then he laughs off the mound like he did against the Orioles, I think it was the Orioles that one time, maybe it still derails. Maybe, so I'm not 100% saying, oh, it was all Larry Rothschild's fault for Sonny Gray not performing.
Oh, no, I can't say that, but there's definitely there's
contributing factor.
Mental capacity there was limited with Mr. Sonny Gray. So, but yeah, I mean, apparently, Matt Blake's been great. That's all I'll say. Matt Blake's been great.
Sure.
And I will not say his name incorrectly anymore on purpose because he doesn't deserve that.
Good. That's very honorable of you.
Yeah. Hopefully I can say Tampa Bay Devil Rays after this series.
Paul O'Neill dropped a Devil Rays earlier this week. Did you catch that?
No, I didn't, but I like it.
All right, that's going to wrap up today's show. Make sure to submit your mailbags for Mondays. Or actually, let's talk about that. So, holiday on Monday. Yankees are not playing on Memorial Day, which is freaking weird. They're also not playing 4th of July this year, which I don't know. Whover made the schedule is
the whole schedule is completely weird this year. I mean, we're playing the same teams over and over again. We played Baltimore 1,000 times. Not going. What was the other one we looked at the other day? It was
they have to play a doubleheader in Houston right after the All-Star break because
West
they have
Coast.
to
They're not going to the West Coast until like September or late August or something.
They're going to the West Coast in August, but it's like only for 3 games against Seattle,
right?
And then they go back to the West Coast on a later trip. Yeah, very very bizarre, bizarre scheduling. But the Yankees are not playing Monday. We are going to record our next episode Monday afternoon. And it'll be posted at some point Monday, late afternoon, evening. No one's going to listen to that shit anyway on Memorial Day. Everyone's going to be sitting at a pool or sitting on a beach or just drunk under a table.
Yeah, and we'll be podcasting. So that's the dedication.
We'll be podcasting. But you can listen to it Tuesday morning. So just a little programming note for you. But for that episode, make sure to submit your mailbag questions. Tweet us and DM us those questions and call up the voicemail line 646-480-0342. I'm very much looking forward to this series against Tampa, even though it's going to be a tough series. Like, I'm freaking sick of watching them play the Orioles.
So am I, man.
Enough.
Yeah, seriously. I'm very much over that.
It's gonna be, I think, a very difficult series. I'm hoping they can definitely split. But make sure to light up that voicemail line if anything crazy happens, and we will talk to you guys Monday evening.